Hi there, I'm back again with the second video of the day. I have to tell you that I'm very alarmed about what I am seeing with the war and with the economy and with Putin and all these things. And I wanted to come on and give you guys a warning, in my opinion, of what I'm seeing. Let me tell you a little bit about my background. I was the senior vice president of investments with Raymond James and Associates for 25 years. And after 25 years in 2006, I left and went to Prudential, which through the crash, through the great financial meltdown of 2008, we became ultimately, after one buyout by Citi, which ended up being a mess, we ended up being taken over by Wells Fargo Advisors. So I was in the business literally for 30 years, and I was licensed for 29 or 28 of those years. And my FINRA was totally clean. I had no complaints. I ran a very clean business. I did very well. I was always in the top 5 or 10% of the firm, and I did well. I am no longer licensed, so I can no longer give investment advice individually and tell you what you can and can't do and things like that. But I can give you my opinion about what I see out in the markets right now. And I have to tell you, I am very, very scared. And this is probably the second time that I am this scared in all these years. After I retired in 2009 because I got sick, I haven't been doing it since. But 2008, there was that weekend when it was before the weekend where everybody started to collapse. I think it was the second or third weekend in September where I went to a bunch of my clients and said, we just need to go to cash with whatever we could at that point. And I am today much, much more afraid than I was back in 2008. And I'm going to tell you why. We have oil that keeps trying to get through 100. It's at 96 right now. It closed at 96, I saw. We have a stock market that is now at 46,000. It's come down 9 or 10% from the first of the year, or from the high, I should say, not from the first of the year. I'm sorry. But I am afraid, and I lived through all these oil shocks back in the 70s and then into the 80s and 90s. And oil is the biggest driver of the world economy of anything. And I have to tell you that if the price of oil goes through 100 and starts to hit 150 or 200, which it's never seen before, the effect of that to the world economy is going to be so crushing and so harsh that I think it could actually bring down the whole economies right now, because the banks are actually strong, but again, many things are over leveraged again. Countries are over leveraged. I mean, Russia is way over leveraged. The United States is way over leveraged. You know, we can't raise our interest rates to fight inflation. I think that we could be heading for an economic meltdown like none of us have ever lived through before, and that's because of what I see as an oil shock. And I don't mean the shock that we've had so far of oil at 94, but I am saying if oil gets to 150 or 200, we are going to have one hell of an oil shock. And I am going to cash right now, and as much cash as possible. I would not be in the stock market right now unless I was in an oil investments. I wouldn't be in tech stocks at this point because they're so overpriced, and there's such high multiples right now. And this is totally against where I was 3 weeks ago with my investments and my feeling about this thing. Everything changed. That's my point. Is the whole world has changed. And everything that we under 3 weeks ago before this war isn't valid today. And right now, I think it's about protecting your money as best as you can and getting into as much cash as possible. And if we don't get to 150, 200, you'll have a chance to get back in. You might lose a little money, you might make a little money, but I think I'd rather lose a few percent than I would to lose, multiple percent, 10, 20, 30, 40. I have no idea how low the market could get, how bad things can get. All I can tell you is that if we see $150 or $200 barrel of oil, I could see the stock market in half from where it is right now, easily. And I think that you could see that throughout Europe and everywhere else. So, as I said, this is not investment advice. It's just my feeling of what I see in the markets. And I would take cover right now, and I would protect myself as much as possible. And we don't live through these things very often. And this looks to be like one of the worst ones we could possibly do right now. Again, because the US is so over leveraged, Russia's so over leveraged. We got all these wars going on. You have oil going crazy. And I don't see any savior for this thing right now. There's very little room for anybody to go in and save all these things and save America right now, and maybe even the dollar. Trump has kicked off something that he had no idea how far and how bad this could get. And now he doesn't understand that oil shock, we get barrel oil, oh my God. Our whole way of life and our economy right now is going to just be a disaster. So anyway, I just wanted to come on. I'm sorry to be so negative, but I wanted to give my 2 cents worth and do with it what you will. And if that's nothing, fine. And if you do something with it, great. And I hope that I'm wrong, that these things happen, and that you can always go back in. But if I'm right, you'll have protected yourself. Thank you very much. See you in another video.